Live from WWL Louisiana, this is an Elections on 4 special.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for watching. I'm Katie Moore with this Elections on 4 special tonight, making history here in the Channel 4 studios as we watch a new mayor of New Orleans elected in Helena Moreno. We were able to call that race early on in the election cycle tonight, given the huge margin that she has claimed victory in this case. Precincts still coming in. You can see the results on your screen right now. Helena Moreno currently has 55% of the vote, which means there will be no runoff in this election. She wins it outright tonight with 86% of the precincts reporting. That is not including the absentee ballots and the early votes, as our analysts have been saying throughout the night. But Helena Moreno, now the mayor-elect of the city of New Orleans. That is just one of the big races that we're going to continue to follow as we continue throughout the night tonight. Not only are we following the mayor's race, but there is a significant change in leadership on the city council as well. In addition to that, there is a new sheriff in town here in Orleans Parish. We're going to get to all of that for you in just a few minutes, but we want to begin tonight with Sharice Gibson and Devin Bartolotta, who are out live at Helena Moreno's campaign party tonight. Moreno just got off the stage a few moments ago talking about her vision for the city of New Orleans. Her campaign slogan was taking the city in a new direction, and that is exactly what she talked about doing tonight. So Sharice and Devin, what are your thoughts after hearing her speak?
The mood is definitely different from the last time.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said the mood is definitely different from the last time we checked in. It is a full-on victory party. Helena Moreno is just steps away from us right now. I'm sorry, Sharice and I are trying to hear each other again because it's pretty loud in here. Helena Moreno just steps away. We're expecting to hear from her in just seconds here. We just had her acceptance speech. She had a stage full of people, full of family and friends, and also fellow politicians.
Yeah, a lot of what she said on stage echoed what she talked about during the mayoral debate, making this quote-unquote Super Bowl city, alluding to the fact that during the Super Bowl, the city services were stepped up a notch during the Super Bowl. She wants to make that 24/7 and has also talked the same deal about being a 24/7 mayor. Helena Moreno got on stage and also talked about being a mayor for all people. She said that she understands that some people didn't vote for her, but she also wants to make sure that she supports those people. We actually have Helena Moreno walking up right now. Mayor-elect Helena Moreno walking up right now. All right. She's coming up.
Congratulated along the area here by reporters who have filled this room tonight. We didn't know this was at maximum capacity.
All right, we have Helena Moreno standing by right now. We'll help her on up right here. Here you go. All right, thank you so much for joining us, Versa. Congratulations to you. I know this has been overwhelming. I know this was a very tough race, but you've been planning for this the first 100 days. What can we expect from you?
Well, really, I'm actually going to start now, like immediately, because I now have an additional month really to start working through transition. And then remember, I'm currently on the city council where I'll be working through the budget now with this current council to start shaping things really the way that I may want them to look when I take office in January. But really within my first 100 days, what you'll see from my administration is zeroing in, focusing in on our city services, making sure that we finally get a street maintenance program going, our street lights stay on, our traffic lights, and also, of course, really revamping our very troubled city departments like safety and permits. That work really has to start immediately.
There was a lot of, you talked about how you want to be a mayor for all people, even those who did not support you or did not vote for you. You got big cheers when talking about some neighborhoods that you'd like to see some reinvestment in. How much work is that going to take to earn the trust of those who maybe didn't support you or where you might see big challenges?
And ultimately, I hope that my work that I put forth as mayor ultimately will say, you know what, maybe I was wrong about Helena, but ultimately I'm mayor for the entire city now, for all people here, whether they supported me or not. And I plan on, working nonstop for anyone, whether they supported me or they didn't.
Well, you talked about the budget, obviously still sitting on the city council. This budget is going to tee up for you when you take over with mayorship Anything on this budget that is concerning to you currently with City Council?
I mean, first and foremost, we really need to understand, as I've said before, like what is our real budget shortfall, and that's why I brought in the state legislative auditor, Mike Wagasback, to come in and give us that third-party look to see where we're really at. And then once we have that real assessment, we can all work collaboratively to try to deal with that issue. But one of the concerns that I have with the budget is that we outsource so much. A lot of contractor, consultant work, things that we could be doing in-house. So how can we start reshaping the budget that way? And also, I'll probably be, I know actually I will be reorganizing the government, the city government a little bit differently than what this mayor has done, and I think that'll create some...
How do you plan to do so?
So, for example, I think that there are some city departments that, for example, are not the main priorities for the people of this city, that potentially we could ensure that economic development is boosted and DPW is boosted, but then maybe some others that haven't been producing the results that we need, maybe those we scale back a little bit. So really, my priorities in my administration are going to be the people's priorities. Their top priorities is what I need to reshape kind of our budget and city government around.
My last question for you is that you are sworn in 3 months from tomorrow. What does tomorrow look like for you, and what does the next 3 months look like for you?
Sure. So tomorrow, as you can imagine, up early to start thanking, different groups and going to different churches to thank everyone. And then immediately right after that, I start putting together my transition team. So that's my Sunday. And then we start working through transition. But like I said, I'm glad I have an additional month to get everything together and put together right.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, Mayor-elect Helena Moreno, help her down there. We just heard from her, again, echoing some of the things that we have heard throughout this campaign, her talking about being a mayor for all people and for the people's issues. Some of those issues include infrastructure. She talks about restructuring and reorganizing city government, and she also discusses the budget that is currently being, of course, we know City Council really holds the purse here, the budget that she still fulfills her duties as on City Council, and that budget is what's going to set her up when she begins her tenure.
And of course the work, as she said, does begin tomorrow with the transition team. That's kind of the next step, and then in mid-January we'll see her sworn in as the next mayor, and she has made a lot of promises within the first 100 days, things she'd like to see go much more smoothly, collaboration she would like to see in terms of getting city services back up and running as smoothly as possible. So there's a lot to come in the next few months here.
Yeah, I think a lot to come indeed. I don't know if you guys knew this. We were over at the Civic Theater, and apparently there were a number of people trying to get inside. This was a very big mayoral campaign. She said she had over 2,000 volunteers that were here. We've seen things on social media. The very first mayoral candidate to have a commercial on television. So she ran this campaign in a very big way and got some very big results out of it.
Paid off for her, for sure. All right, that'll do it for us for now from the Civic Theater. We'll send it back to us.
All right, thanks so much, guys. And we want to go to our amazing team of analysts who have been with me throughout the night, who have given us just the greatest insight. You all made it possible for us to call so many of these races almost out of the gate. We have Ron Fauché, Silas Lee, and of course Clancy Dubos, our political analyst, joining us. And this really has been a historic night, and one that I think a lot of people maybe suspected was going to happen, but didn't really think it would be by this large of a margin. Any thoughts on that, Ron? Let's start with you.
Well, there's a few things I wanted to mention. It looks like we're getting close to maybe having the 40% turnout. And at the beginning of the program, you might recall, we said, that's the benchmark. If it gets to that, it looks like it's a nice big jump from where it was before. A couple of other things about Helena Moreno that I'd like to say. Give me a chance to have a little fun here.
Okay, let's do it.
She is the fourth City Council at-large member to get elected mayor as an incumbent council person at large since the city charter. We had Sidney Bartholomew, Moon Landrieu, Vic Skiro, and now we have Helena Moreno. And the other thing I noticed was, I believe Helena is about 48 years old.
48, turned 48.
Yeah, and every mayor who was elected since Moon Landrieu was elected under 50.
Every mayor since May Street was under
Right.
50.
Well,
almost 100 years ago.
Right, if
Under 50.
Wow, we
if
like
you-
a young
new
mayor.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
We like a young mayor here.
We
We
like
like that
young-
energy.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's
they're
not
all
a
in
rule,
color.
but it sure looks like a pattern after 90 years,
Right. yeah.
okay, of mayors. And the oldest was Mitch. He was 49.
Wow.
His father was 39, Moon.
Right.
Well, we're going to hear from Michelle Woodfork shortly, but we do want to just continue to hear from you guys about what you're thinking, overall thoughts. And how about you, Silas? What are your overall thoughts?
Starting with the early vote trends, we saw she was able to maintain a level in terms of 65. Now we see is at 55%. And it reflected the coalition she built, the fact that she was able to withstand the attacks, and she never lost presence in the community. Once she started, she never stopped. And that was critical. And I go back to voters look at the characteristics, vision, trust in leading the city, had a plan to articulate. All those are intrinsic characteristics that determine the strength of your victory. And that's a strong victory.
Yeah, it's so interesting to hear the strategy behind it, because we, as the public, just see these polls that are made public. You know, the horse race
Right.
polls. But as you said, you know, this is the real strategy behind it.
Well, we have an index of questions that we always test. And quite often those questions, the results will indicate whether or not a person will be a strong candidate or if they're going to be ineffective.
All right, on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone. A historic night in the city of New Orleans as we continue to follow the major municipal elections that are happening both in Orleans Parish over in Slidell. It has been a big night for voters there, and the police chief in Slidell has gotten elected mayor. He will be the next mayor of the city of Slidell. Now, also big races here in Orleans Parish, not only for the mayor of New Orleans, Helena Moreno, now the mayor-elect of the city of New Orleans, but in addition to that, the Orleans Parish Sheriff's election has also been a hot race here in Orleans Parish. Michelle Woodfork, we have called, is going to be the next sheriff in Orleans Parish, rather. I kept going back to that. But we, of course, had a very tough race between Helena Moreno, Oliver Thomas, and Royce Duplessis. Those three have been the front runners for some time in that race. Let's hear from Royce Duplessis now about how this race played out.
For each and every one of you who are here tonight, I am so thankful for each and every person who is not here tonight, but that has supported this campaign, that has supported me. I cannot express to you how blessed I feel, how humbled I am by this experience, and what it means to me, what it means to my family who's standing here behind me. I just want to begin by making some personal thanks, some individual thanks. Obviously, everybody who's standing behind me, my mother and my father. Reese, yes. I'm so grateful for what they've given to me and my 4 brothers, and well, 3 brothers, it's 4. I feel like it's 4 of us most time. This woman right here. I am so thankful that you have taken this journey with me, and you continue to take this journey with me. Every day she is unwavering. She is a soldier. She is a champion. She is a brilliant human being that I'm just grateful and blessed to go through this life with. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much. And Reese has been a champion throughout this process. She's sad right now, but I'm trying to let her know that we're still victorious tonight, y'all. A couple of members, a couple of people that I want to thank. I have to say certain names here tonight. Tyrone Walker and Cherie Teamer Henley. Now let me tell y'all something. 3 months ago, a little bit over 3 months ago, when I called them, I said, look, Crystal and I have been praying on this, and this is something that I want to do, knowing good and well this was going to be a challenge, knowing good and well this was going to be an uphill battle. These 2 individuals didn't blink. They said we're going to get in the foxhole with you. We're going to do it. We know it's going to be a challenge, but they didn't blink. They didn't waver. And I love you both forever. Thank you so much. I also want to thank my big sister, Tammy Major, Kelly Brown, James Carter, Carling Dinkler, Sierra Blanchard, Myra Richardson, Dante Edmond, Greg Arnoley, Mr. Larry Jackson, Ravi Sangicetti, Tucker Crawford. I also want to thank Mayor Sidney Bartholomew. I want to thank Chief Justice Burnett Johnson, Clerk, that's right, Clerk Chelsea Richard Napoleon. I also want to thank School Board Member Katie Bodewin, State Representative Alonzo Knox. I also want to thank my good brother and friend, Cleveland Spears. There are so many more people to thank that we could be here all night. If you hosted a fundraiser for me, if you volunteered for me, if you knocked doors, if you canvassed, if you waved signs, if you gave a word of encouragement, if you said a prayer for me, if you sent me a text message in the middle of the night saying just be encouraged, just being there for me and my family means so much, and so many of you did that.
That is State Senator Royce Duplessis making his speech tonight, talking about the campaign that he ran. He had to run fast and furiously in order to get to where he got tonight. So claiming a victory in that, and our political analysts here all seem to think this is not the last that we're going to hear from him politically. So much more to come from Royce Duplessis, and much more to come for us after a quick break. We'll be right back.
He got really ahead.
Welcome back, everyone. We are keeping tabs on all these hot button races that we've seen tonight. One of those is Orleans Parish Sheriff. So let's listen in to the new Sheriff of Orleans Parish, Susan Hudson. Michelle Woodfork.
With him, everything is possible. Also want to thank my parents. Mom and Dad, thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for raising me to be a servant and a protector. Thank you for raising me to be tough, to know that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. To my beautiful son, Nicholas, thank you for being the best son a mother could ever dream of. I hope I make you proud, son. To my big sister, Rochelle, you are the very best. To my team, John Litchfield, Jason Williams, Cedric Richmond, Telly Medina, Jacques Moriel, Jared Ossamont, and Team Woodfork, and that's Tiffany, Chantel, Rochelle, Master, Delisa, Linda, Vanicia, Robert, Mr. Smitty, David, Glendon, Jacques, Nate, Emma, Percy, Brandy, Dana, and Telly Jr. My entire team, thank you all. And to everyone here, thank you for helping me reach my dream of becoming the next Sheriff of Orleans Parish. To Sheriff Hudson, thank you for your service, and thank you for running a campaign focused on the issues that people care about. I would truly treasure this moment because it was not given to us. It was not easy. It was not pleasant. But a wise woman reminded me that when they are short and when they go low, we go high. To the people of New Orleans, I promise to be a sheriff you can be proud of, a true community partner. As sheriff, I will take my responsibility for the care, custody, and control of the jail seriously. Through increasing recruitment, investing in our deputies, investing in technology, I will ensure that we operate a safe and secure jail. A jail where the deputies and those housed there are safe. A jail where no one leaves until their release date. And while I have people in my custody, I will work with them to ensure that they are better people when they leave, not better criminals. To do that, I will focus on rehabilitation that includes mental health services, substance abuse treatment, education, and job skill training. We will provide the people who leave our jail with the skills to take advantage of another chance, sometimes their last chance, that helps them and that makes our community safer. I will be a true community partner. In this city, we have so many great groups, great organizations that are doing good work in the community, the hard work in this community, and they all can use some help. I will be there for you. I will help you, and I will partner with you. As a true law enforcement professional, I know the importance of working with our law enforcement partners across the region to fight crime and protect our families. So over the coming weeks and months, I look forward to sitting down with law enforcement leaders to collaborate, to listen, and to learn. I also understand the importance that the courts, both civil and criminal, play in our daily lives. Those courts cannot function efficiently and effectively without the cooperation and execution of the Sheriff's Office. Over the transition, I will meet with the judges to ensure that we are doing our part and making sure that the office meets my high standard of performance. There is so much more I want to say about my plans as sheriff, and I will over the next 6 months as we transition. But tonight, we get to celebrate. We get to celebrate the long, hard-fought journey to victory, to celebrate the hard work of our many volunteers, celebrate the conversations with friends and strangers to talk about my experience and vision, to celebrate our victory. So now, let's celebrate.
Sheriff-elect of Orleans Parish, Michelle Woodfork, the former superintendent of NOPD. It was an interim job. She turned that after getting passed over, really, for the regular superintendent's position for a run for sheriff now. Has turned around that sort of rejection from Mayor LaToya Cantrell into a huge political win tonight. You can see her work in the room at her campaign party. You know, she has had the backing of many, as she mentioned there. She listed them, big name politicians in New Orleans and beyond. So Michelle Woodfork, now the sheriff-elect of Orleans Parish. Interestingly, she will not actually assume the office until July of next year. So there's a huge gap in time, which is a significant transition. I know that was difficult for incoming Sheriff Susan Hudson. Now, we do want to go out now to talk to Oliver Thomas. Oliver Thomas also running a big campaign for mayor, one of the front runners. Brandon Walker, Brianna Boudreaux standing by with what we have heard from Oliver Thomas so far. Hi, guys.
Hey there, Katie. So things are pretty quiet here. The room is empty. Oliver Thomas addressed his supporters in what was a pretty spirited speech, although acknowledging that the results were nowhere near what he had hoped, what he had thought would be tonight.
Yeah, he talked about specifically those numbers and that wide margin between them. He said he really never expected that to happen. Something that he said he feels some people were responsible for. He talked about not wanting to be a sore loser. He did congratulate Helena Moreno, but he said he felt that there were very specific players in making sure that one candidate, specifically Helena Moreno, was protected. And he was very clear in how he felt about that, and even asked the room a couple times if he could speak frankly with them, and was very honest. But as you mentioned, still a lot of energy, and said that the fight is not over.
And to that latter point there, we had the opportunity to speak to Councilman Thomas one-on-one after his speech, and so we asked him point blank, who were you talking about? Jason Williams, J.P. Morrell, they were on the stage tonight with Helena, among others, and he said yes. And he said that it's just now a matter of time to see what happens as we begin to acknowledge and bring in Mayor-elect Helena Moreno and the administration that she will put together a campaign and administration. Oliver Thomas says that he will support, and he also told his supporters to support.
Yeah, he said just because your candidate does not or was not elected tonight, as he spoke to the room, he said there is so much work still to be done in New Orleans, and he wants everyone to take part in that. He also, talked to the room with a lot of joy. He said that he had always been taught by his father to shake the hand of the opponent who beat you, and he said that that's exactly what he planned to do, but was very clear in that he felt certain candidates were protected, and he said he felt that that played a role that it shouldn't have in this campaign.
Yeah, also one more note about the numbers, of course, Royce Duplessis conceding tonight as well. Councilman Thomas saying that it's pretty safe to say that the black vote in particular was split between he and Duplessis, and as a result, he's seeing that success that Helena Moreno had tonight, winning outright, receiving over 50% of the vote in the primary. So it is interesting to see how those numbers did play out there, and the councilman's perspective on that vote that was split there between he and State Senator Duplessis.
I think that one-on-one interview showed a lot and was very interesting to hear him speak so clearly and transparently about certain things, and we'll certainly bring that to you more on air and online.
Okay, we want to toss to the interview now.
Okay, my thoughts are congratulations to the winner. I mean, you got to give credit, man. To win in the first against two major opponents, and then I thought Frank Janusa did a great job coming on. So to have a campaign where you could have that level of block vote in the white community and then get enough crossover support, it was a brilliant effort and it worked.
Councilman Oliver Thomas speaking to me and Bree a few minutes ago after conceding this race, saying that he is not done, that he will continue to be a leader in his community.
Yep, and we'll have to see exactly what comes next. We asked him, and I said, do you have anything specific?
Yep.
He said he's not quite sure, but the fight is not over.
Yeah, someone in the crowd yelled Congress. So again, we'll see. But that is the latest here from Maison Blanche in New Orleans East. Katie, let's send things back to you.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Hearing from Oliver Thomas there, his concession speech. We, of course, heard from Royce Duplessis earlier as well. And the winner tonight, Mayor-elect Helena Moreno. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our election coverage, Election on 4 tonight. We have talked about many races, especially those here in Orleans Parish. A significant leadership change for the city of New Orleans is underway. beginning, of course, with the top executive in New Orleans, which will now be Mayor-elect Helena Moreno. As of January, she will be the mayor of New Orleans. You can see the results there from the vote tonight. That is with 100% of precincts reporting Helena Moreno elected mayor of New Orleans. Strong showing from Royce Duplessis, the state senator, and of course Councilman Oliver Thomas running against her, and Frank Janusa, who people have talked quite a bit about, more than we would typically be talking about a Republican in a race like this. But Frank Janusa coming in with 2%. Now, our legendary political analyst here joining me tonight, talking about how this race unfolded. I think many of you suspected that this is how the night would end, given that you two in particular have been doing polling for a number of candidates. Not surprised, but Clancy, we didn't get to hear your final thoughts yet on what is going to shake out of all of this. This is just the beginning.
It
really
is, but my colleagues here and good friends talked about Helena Moreno and various aspects of her campaign. The one thing that struck me, to use a football analogy, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl because they were the most complete team. They were great on offense, great on defense, great on special teams. I think Helena Moreno ran the most complete campaign. Her social media was miles ahead of everybody else's. Her traditional media was excellent. Her PR was excellent. She's a very telegenic, very articulate, and handles herself beautifully on camera, whether it's live or taped. And she's always very measured in her comments, never out of control. She ran the most complete campaign, and she had enough money to do it. So she had everything going in her favor, and she made no mistakes. Right. And it's hard to lose a race when you have all of that.
It is.
Yes.
And I would add to your apt analogy that in addition to that, she really won this race over the last 7.5 years.
Yes.
Because she was effectively positioning herself for mayor the whole time. So it wasn't just the campaign, which I think was superb. It was flawless. But it was an 8-year effort.
Right.
And
we've seen people run perfect campaigns and still lose, but she ran a perfect campaign.
And she succeeded.
And one of my mentors, Ray Strother, said, you got to run a perfect campaign, you can still lose, but you got to have a little bit of luck. To the extent that luck played into it, she got lucky too. I'm not saying she won because she's lucky, but she didn't have any bad luck. Let's put it that way. Nothing broke against her.
No, well, none of her opponents ever could figure out how to take votes away from her. They never could do it.
And it comes back to something I said earlier, among other things that we all said. The voters of New Orleans know Helena Moreno. Sure. And when they feel like they really know someone and they're going to vote for that person, it's hard to take them away from anybody.
The other thing is she was not handicapped with having to respond to any type of criticisms, controversies, so she was able to stay focused on the issues. Her favorabilities, we saw in all the polls, were consistently in the 70% range. Anytime you have that, no matter how much you attack using social media or traditional media, it doesn't stick. In fact, too many attacks can have the reverse effect where it impacts the person doing the attacks more than the individual.
And we saw that with Royce Duplessis. The first time he attacked Helena Moreno, called her corrupt and blamed her for the chaos at City Hall. He actually went from second place into third place for a week or so or more. And Oliver moved up to second place. And then Royce came back when he pulled that ad and changed course. But he ran a very negative, almost angry campaign. Whereas I think Oliver Thomas ran a more statesman-like campaign.
Well, you have
he
to
went
be
out
able
on
to
a high note.
And what the other point is, you have to be able to read the social climate the campaign is taking place in. The voters definitely said that we want this to come to an end. We want to focus on closing the book and starting a new book. And let's move on to making this city address the critical issues we are concerned about.
Exactly. Well, there certainly are many.
And look, the next mayor has a job to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, a big job to do.
Absolutely. We're going to...
One piece of luck she's got, in a sense, is that having won tonight, she can get started on her transition early. Yeah.
And
that extra 5 weeks can make a huge difference because you got Thanksgiving and Christmas and Kwanzaa and New Year's and Sugar Bowl and probably not the Saints playoffs, but hope springs eternal. And that's a lot to go between now and January 12th.
And she's going to have to be very public about it, because expectations for her are very high.
Yep.
Well,
And for her to meet those expectations, she's got to show she's running an administration. She's got to show she's bringing change, and then she's got to deliver on it.
Got to deliver on it.
The
All right,
one
you guys.
thing Mitch Landrieu, I'll close on this. When
Okay.
Mitch Landrieu got elected mayor, I asked him, what's the toughest part? He said, managing expectations.
That's the key.
That was during his transition.
Right.
Wow.
You have to manage expectations.
Right. And he won, by
And
the
he
way,
did.
an open race in the
Right.
first primary.
With
There
a
you go.
majority of black and white
Yeah,
votes.
yeah.
Big
History
this
majority.
was the
repeating
easy
itself.
part.
Yeah. This is the easy part, you're right.
Yeah.
I think she knows.
That's right.
Hopefully she knows that, given
She
that she's
does.
been on the council as long as she has. All right, you guys, can't thank you enough for everything that you've contributed tonight.
Thank you. You've done a wonderful
Oh,
job.
thank
here.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, we're not done quite
We're the
yet.
lucky ones. Yeah, come on.
We're not done quite yet. We need to get over to Slidell for a minute because we haven't heard from the new mayor-elect of Slidell, the police chief elected tonight. So let's hear from Meg Ferris.
Well, people are very happy here at the victory party now for the next mayor for Slidell, Randy Fandle. And joining us now is the next mayor. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, thank you.
So you become the third police chief at Slidell to become the mayor.
Yes.
Are you excited about this win, and what are your plans?
Oh, I'm very excited. My plans are to move the city forward. I'm going to start Monday.
You have said that you thought government didn't have the trust of the people and the culture needed to change. What exactly do you mean by that?
I'll use Slidell Police Department as an example. This community stepped up. They trust everything we do, and that's because we're transparent and we show the people everything we do every day. Moving forward with the city, I want to bring that trust. I want to get that trust from everybody in this city for the mayor's office. We're going to do the same thing.
You have said as former state trooper that you believe that with your experience, executive experience in running budgets of more than millions of dollars, this prepares you for this job.
Absolutely. I'm the same leadership that I've shown for the last 30 years across this state. I brought it to the Slidell Police Department. I'm ready to bring it to the mayor's office. I'm excited about it.
One of the things your opponent was for was the North Shore Square Mall being bought by the city. You were against that. What are your plans, or do you have any at this point for that area?
Absolutely. I wasn't against the city buying the mall at the time. I wanted the study to come back. The city paid $100,000 for that study and we didn't get it back. I want to get the study back, bring it to the people. If they like what they see in the study, I'm all for purchasing more to the mall.
Some other issues, let's see, we have drainage, we have lowering the cost of government, that government spending is too much. Let's start with government spending. What do you plan to do?
I'm gonna look at every department we have and see where we can save the money. We're not gonna survive forever on sales tax alone in Slidell. We gotta bring some industry in here, we gotta bring some light manufacturing in here and start moving the city forward.
Do you think with some of these big technology businesses now putting Louisiana on the map, Slidell could benefit from that?
Absolutely. We're located right here in the middle of three major interstates coming together. We're perfectly located for bringing industry into here.
The other thing voters said they wanted to know more about was drainage. I mean, if everything else is wonderful and your house is flooded, life isn't good.
Life isn't good.
Yeah.
The drainage problems, we're going to seek the funding we need, and we're going to work with the parish and the state officials. We're going to get the funding we need to correct the drainage in this city.
How do you plan to do that?
I've worked with and I've made positive relationships across this state for many years. I'm going to work with the people that I've already met, work with the parish and state officials, bring in the funding, bring in real funding, and start doing some real work here.
Now, this buys you several months as mayor through June 30th. You will have to rerun in the spring.
Yes.
And the war chest that both you and your opponent had this time were bigger than ever before because of contribution changes in limits. So you have a good war chest going into that election for the spring?
We've got a lot of support moving forward into the spring, so I'm just going to carry that forward.
This party is huge. And I've read where in the polls your popularity is very big. What are some of the things you're hearing from some of the people here tonight that they would like to see?
Same thing. I mean, they put their faith and trust in me, and I can't let them down. I promise you I'm going to move this city forward.
Now, for the next police chief, that will have to be a new election?
Yes. There will be an interim step in as soon as I'm take the position as mayor, and that interim will be until the next election in the spring.
And when will you take the position as mayor?
Hopefully in about 10 days.
10 days.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Anything else you wanted to say to your new constituents?
Thank you for being here, and I promise you I'm going to go to work starting Monday.
Congratulations, Mayor Fandel. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that's it from here. I will tell you that this party that was supposed to be at a local cocktail lounge has bled out into streets. The streets are all blocked off for a decent area with the band going, and it looks like this is going to go on late into the night. Reporting from Slidell, Meg Farris, WWL, Louisiana.
Thanks so much, Meg. This has been a historic night in the city of Slidell as well. We'll have much more of our Election on 4 coverage right after a short break. Now, before we end our Election on 4 coverage tonight, we want to go back over the winners of these various races. Of course, starting with New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno wins big, 55% of the vote tonight. Another major race, the city council leadership positions. Let's begin with those at-large races. The at-large races, Matthew Willard winning big outright tonight, 59% of the vote over Delisha Boyd, also a state lawmaker, and Matthew Hill. Matthew Willard winning the at-large Division 1 seat. J.P. Morrell winning a re-election bid for the at-large Division 2 seat handily. 66% of the vote coming in for J.P. Morrell, one of the leaders of the city council, and he will continue to be that as we move forward. Now let's get to the districts. District A, which is in Lakeview, this is going to a runoff. Holly Friedman, Amy McCarron, the two of them will be in a runoff in November. District B, Leslie Harris elected without opposition. District C, Freddie King III gets re-elected tonight. 64% of the vote to him. He is the incumbent councilman there. District D, that is another race that was easily won by Eugene Green, the incumbent in District D. He is re-elected for another term tonight. And over in District E, we have another runoff between Cindy Wen. She's a former city council member in New Orleans. She won a larger margin of the vote tonight, but is going to a runoff with Jason Hughes. That also will be in November. Another huge race for the city of New Orleans and leadership is the Orleans Parish Sheriff's race, and there is a new sheriff in town. Michelle Woodfork winning that race, 53% of the vote tonight outright. Not a runoff in this case. She defeated easily the current sheriff, Susan Hudson. The Orleans Criminal District Court race appears to be headed to a runoff. It is headed to a runoff, in fact. Calvin Duncan came out with more votes tonight than the incumbent clerk of court. That's Darren Lombard. Lombard obviously has had some issues recently with evidence over at the court. Wondering if that may have played a factor. We'll have to see as this goes to a runoff in November. Hotly contested race there for clerk of court. Across the lake now, Slidell also had a mayor's race tonight. Randy Fandle, the chief of police in Slidell, has been elected as Slidell's next mayor easily, 72% to Bill Borchert's 28%. Borchert actually is the incumbent. Technically, he's been filling out the term of Cromer, who actually took a position in the Landry administration, the former Slidell mayor. So there will be another election in that case next spring. But right now, the police chief over in Slidell has been elected. We want to just take a quick moment before we leave you to thank our amazing analysts, Ron Fauché, Silas Lee, and WWL political analyst Clancy Dubose, a regular feature on our newscast. So thank you all so much for being with us. Your insight has just been phenomenal. Best in the state. We're so lucky to have you. We appreciate it. All right. And that is going to do it for us tonight. Thanks so much for being with us as we got, all of these results coming in this historic night, and the election on 4 coverage is going to end now. But thanks so much for watching and being with us. Have a great night.